Yellow again, guys. It's your coach here, back with another video story on the channel. Um, if you guys saw like the last two videos I posted on the channel, those are not what if, those are just templates for an idea which you're currently going to read or hear. So I hope you enjoyed it pretty much. So let's get straight into this video. This is what if Tsunade raised Naruto. No, what if Naruto was deserted and was raised by Tsunade? Pretty much. So let's get straight into this video. So this video starts off exactly at the Ninetales attack. Minato has just finished, sealing the QB. He's divided the QB into three parts: yin, yang, and soul. Body and soul, pretty much. He sealed the chakra, the yin chakra into Mito, and the other chakra, into Menma, and the soul into the oldest, Naruto. The reason why he did this was because, Mito and Menma had inherited more of the Uzumaki genes, so they would be able to contain the power. Naruto, being the one who has received most of the Namikaze genes in his blood, pretty much would have to take the soul and the body. So after Minato, seals it, Sarutobi then arrives pretty much and sees, Kushina is knocked out, on the ground pretty much, and he tells an Anbu to take her to hospital. Then, he sees Minato still breathing, because the Shinigami had given him, about like 15 minutes pretty much. As Minato then call out to Sarutobi and say, Sarutobi, come here. As he was in Sarutobi, would not waste time. He'd rush over, to where Minato is and ask him, if he's gonna be okay. Minato then just chuckle and say, oh Trend, I need you to do me a favor. Which, Sarutobi then be like, yeah, I'll do anything pretty much. He's then like, Sarutobi, I'm not sure if things, might go according to my plan. But if they do, he then hands Sarutobi, 2 scrolls, pretty much. He's then like, if Kushina, ever deserts Naruto or decides to leave him, open, one of those 2 scrolls, pretty much the one, with like the Namikaze kanji on it. Open it. It has some instructions I have left in there. Please, old friend, if the worst comes to worst and Kushina deserts him or tries to kill him, please protect him. He's my, last legacy. And with that, Minato's soul then gets claimed by the Shinigami, taking it away as the Shinigami heads out to his own realm. Sarutobi pretty much, was shocked, that Minato would think Kushina would ever do this, but, he knew better than anyone, that it might actually happen. So, Sarutobi would then go, holding baby Naruto pretty much as he, goes to where Kushina is. Kushina, would be breastfeeding Menma and Mito, and Sarutobi would then want to hand Kushina. Naruto is, Kushina would then be like, get that abomination away from me. That's, like the demon which Minato, which killed Minato. Then Sarutobi, would try to reason with Kushina, Kushina, this is your son. But, Kushina being as stubborn as she is, should refuse, because, she's stricken, should refuse. She'd be like, if you bring him any closer, I'll fucking kill him, pretty much. After that happens, Sarutobi then decides, to head back to his tower, where, he meets up with Jiraiya and Kakashi. Kakashi would then be like, isn't that Minato Sensei's child? Is, they reason with then out and say, yes, it is. It is Minato's son. Why isn't he with Kushina? Jiraiya asks. Kushina, called him a demon, pretty much. And, she's blaming him. She's the one who killed Minato, pretty much. So Jiraiya would drop the boy, he reason says. Jiraiya then be like, no, I can't, I got my spy network and research too much. So, I'll just come and see how it's going. As Hiruzen then turn to Kakashi. Kakashi then say, I wanna go back into Anbu, Lord Okage, I wanna deal with the grief I have, pretty much. The third would then be like, understandable. The third would then pick up Naruto as he starts to walk, going down pretty much as he's heading over, to like where the council. Naruto, who's being holded by the third Hokage, is shifting around pretty much. He's uncomfortable with this, and we now see, Tsunade Senju pretty much. She's walking, she's just done her shift at the hospital and she was heading over to the Kage Tower. Then, she sees the Hokage, and, the other two, trying to calm down the boy pretty much. He's not crying, but, he's just shifting around. So, Tsunade, didn't just laugh at the silly attempts of them. As, she then go and grab the boy from them pretty much. As, when she grabs the boy, she then put him into a warm embrace, and wrap the blanket around him tightly. As, Naruto would then stop, fidgeting around, pretty much. He would then look at Tsunade, and smile. As, Tsunade then start cooing at him as Naruto starts, to giggle a bit, pretty much. As, all three are shocked. So, she, and, Tsunade is then like, why isn't he, with, Kushina, pretty much. As, the third Hokage would then explain the situation. As, Tsunade then be like, oh, okay then, I'll adopt him then. Which, they'll be like, what? Is, Tsunade then say, yeah, I'll adopt, Naruto. Because, she doesn't want him, so, I'll take him, pretty much. And then, they will be surprised and they'll be like, are you sure about this, Tsunade? As, Tsunade then be like, yeah, I'm sure about it. And besides, I'm retiring anyway, so, I have all the time in the world to take care of my boy. As, Sartobi, seeing as there is really no option in this, he then decides, to give, like he transfers ownership, or birthship of Naruto to Tsunade, pretty much, making Naruto, Tsunade's official son. So, Tsunade, then files, her papers for retiring, pretty much as she goes and tells Shizune at the Senju compound that we are leaving tomorrow. With, Shizune knows, and starts to, pack up and seal away things, pretty much when they're done, to then, head out. As they're heading out, going out the village, they met up with, with Danzo, Shimura, Koharu, and Itatani, those the elders. They'll be like, Tsunade, you don't have to go, pretty much, you have to, to stay in the village, what do your grandfathers think, all that stuff, Tsunade says, like, shut up your old bags, my grandfather, would be disappointed in what this village has become, especially his students who said, glancing at Danzo, very much as, Danzo, then, just like looking at his passive gaze, pretty much, not even caring. As, Tsunade would then leave, pretty much. She would then, arrive at the hidden Senju compound in, it's like hidden in this small town in Fire Country, so, not many people know about where it is, because, it was like built, into the side of a mountain, pretty much, and it's hidden with tons of seals, security seals, and all that stuff, So, I doubt, anyone would be able to break in. So, when they then arrive in there, Shizune, starts to unpack all the clothes, everything, the food, all that stuff, As, Tsunade then, look tries to play with Naruto. As, Naruto, and he looks at Tsunade, he smiles, bruv. He gives her a fucking good big smile, bruv. Because, he'd be enjoying Tsunade's presence, she's warm, she's, she makes Naruto happy initially. As, Naruto, then looks at Tsunade, with a hungry expression in his eyes, makes Tsunade then be like, oh, you're hungry, my Naruto, pretty much. As, Naruto then, somewhat nod his head, understanding. As, Tsunade gets surprised at it, as, Tsunade then start to breastfeed Naruto, pretty much. So, if you guys are wondering how Tsunade is breastfeeding Naruto, it's because, Tsunade created a jutsu, for like children who have just lost their parents and need to be feeded, pretty much. You can just, feed them by, rotating the chakra in the stimulus organs and, forcing them to make milk. And, if you don't have, the precise chakra control for it, you have, cancer or some shit. So, not many Konoichi are gonna be able to do it. Only those with precise chakra control, like Tsunade, Shizune, and, the future Sakura, if she ever comes out. So, Naruto, then starts to feed, pretty much. And, when Naruto be feeding, oh no, Naruto, the boy, be drinking that milk, he be drinking that milk, from the hunkers, that every man in the elemental nations, freaking wants, to do, even Jirai, wants to get in at those, bruv. But it's only be Naruto, man. Because Naruto, got that baby face pretty much. You can get away with anything. So Tsunade, then starts to raise Naruto pretty much from the ground up. Kushina, go to Krishna's perspective. So pretty much, Krishna takes care of men by meter pretty much, and she's happy pretty much. But later on, she's gonna start to regret, the choosing she's done. But we all know that it's too late to change anything. So, back with Sarutobi Ryuzen. So Sarutobi Ryuzen, just came back, from a council meeting pretty much. Flashback council meeting. This council meeting, was all about the Jinchuriki, what to do next to the village and everything. As Danzo then asks, where the Jinchurikis. As Hiruzen would then say, the Jinchuriki, as there are three Jinchurikis, Danzo. One is the soul, two is the chakra. As Danzo then say, give them to me, for conditioning pretty much, so that they can train them to become loyal people of the village. As Hiruzen then say, Danzo, Kushina is going, to the fire capital, where she's gonna train them and raise them and raise and train them until she's satisfied, they will not lash out at people when they use that chakra, which, Danzo knows understandable, and he says, what about the last boy? Oh, the last boy was taken by Tsunade pretty much, since, Kushina doesn't want him. He can rather than say, bring him back this instant pretty much, if we can, get him, to become, the perfect thing, because, Danzo may be making these schemes, he's probably going to turn people into weapons. But you don't know. Oh no, our boy Sarutobi Ryuzen be like, hey Danzo, if you don't shut the fuck up now, you're gonna end up, 6 feet under pretty much. As Danzo then shudder, at the thought of him, fucking die. So after all these shenanigans, the council meeting then ends. So Ryuzen then goes into his office. As he opens one of the scrolls, to left him, then starts to read, and then it says, dear Ryuzen, in place of my death and not becoming neglected, I want you, to seal away the Namikaze, fortune, the Namikaze scrolls, everything to do with the Namikaze clan, and give it to Naruto when he's right of age, I don't want Jiraiya, to adopt him, because, he'll start linking Naruto with the prophecy, as well as, how to control the Fox chakra. He would be obsessed with it, pretty much. I don't want that to happen. I don't want, I want my children to live the best life, pretty much. I've seen that Naruto has inherited, most of my genes pretty much, and I've declared him the heir of the Namikaze clan. I leave the Namikaze clan, in your hands, Sarutobi, pretty much, keep it safe, for my son until he's ready to inherit it. If Tsunade, if Tsunade, ever wants to adopt Naruto, allow her to take him, pretty much, because, I know he will be safe from, what's coming. Also, I want you, to give Naruto, my scrolls of knowledge, so that he can start training, before he goes to the academy, so he can protect himself. Because, I feel, that the person who came and attacked this day will come any time as well to continue what he started, pretty much. So, Hiruzen, after reading this, closes his eyes, shutting them forcefully. He doesn't want any tears to fall, bruv, because, he's like, wow, Minato, you really had analyzed everything before it happened. So, Hiruzen then, head over to the Namikaze compound and, seal it up pretty much. Like, how Minato instructed, you take out a seal and, place it on the ground, as a bear would then appear. He'll then walk inside, and grab, a couple of scrolls, Minato study jutsu, some of his excellent jutsus and, the Flying Thunder God as well. As he'll then save them up in a scroll and give them to an envoy, and, tell this envoy to go and give them to Tsunade. As the envoy, is one of Hiruzen's trusted envoy, Shisui. As Shisui then take the scroll and give it to Tsunade. So Tsunade then receives the scroll, and she read the instructions. She would then pretty much nod her head, pretty much. As she then continues to take care of Naruto. So we're gonna time skip this, to 4-year-old Naruto. 4-year-old Naruto's life, has been pretty much good. Nothing exciting or disappointing has been happening. He's been, living with his mother, As she and her, have been bonding, a lot. Pretty much, they've been getting together, doing all sorts of fun things. Pretty much, and he loves his mother, and he'll do anything for her. So Naruto pretty much, will then start to read and write. Pretty much, his mother will then teach him, calligraphy. Pretty much, like the thing, they used to make seals. Pretty much, he started to teach him, to the calligraphy from a young age, which Naruto master, as a prodigy as he is, pretty much would start to work on pretty easily. I want to move up Naruto at like age 6, pretty much. At age 6, Tsunade would have started Naruto's training, pretty much. Training him, how to use a enhanced chakra fist. Flashback, at age 5 when Naruto unlocked his chakra. Tsunade was training Naruto, on how to unlock his chakra. She had told him to meditate and fill a warm pool into your stomach, pretty much. And you feel that warm pool, pull it out. As Naruto then meditates, for an hour. As he's looking for this warm pool. Suddenly, he would feel, this purple, he would see this purple, string. As Naruto then decide, to fucking pull on it. He will then tug on it as hard as he can, pretty much. As to the outside world, Naruto's chakra would then explode, cracking the ground, blowing away everything inside, pretty much. So Naruto is shocked, at how dense Naruto's chakra, the amount of chakra is releasing, as well as Shinozune. Tsunade had only felt this amount of chakra, when Hashirama was going serious and fighting people. That's when, he would release this type of chakra, pretty much. So, Naruto would then eventually, pass out, from chakra depletion. Since it was his first time unlocking his chakra flashback end. So, so I then trained Naruto, in a chakra enhanced fist, as well as, her taijutsu. So, she started with her taijutsu, like, of the Senju clan, pretty much. Because Naruto is gonna be the heir of the clan. So, she started teaching Naruto, that taijutsu. She was also, moving on, to the interest taijutsu, for like, for speed and everything. That's why, she started with the Senju, because the Senju, as is consist of, powerful strikes, which are meant, like to kill the opponent, the Namikaze one, is meant like, to finish off the opponent as fast as you can by, hitting all vital points. So Naruto is training pretty much, and he's enjoying himself, during that training. Until, suddenly, 4 people pull up. One is Samomoji, one is Haku, one is Gozu and Mizu pretty much. So, it's not seeing this, and she's in as well, then come out, see where Naruto is, is, something then be like, give us, the sound, of like the yellow flash pretty much. As, it's not then be like, not over my dead body, I'm not gonna let you take him pretty much. As, Sub then be like, have it your way, as if then, to his mist, the Kirigagure mist pretty much, as, he hide himself in the mist. How could then do, the crystal ice mirrors pretty much. As Tsunade, start to fight them off pretty much, she would naturally then, be behind, So I was talking from everywhere, calling Naruto weak, taunting him pretty much. So that, he can step out of his shadow so he can nab the boy and dip pretty much. So, I could then, throw some shuriken, some sandpoint to where Naruto is pretty much. As, Naruto, seeing this, would like see, death flash before his eyes, he would see himself dying. But suddenly, he would not feel pain. He would look and see, his mother, smiling at him as, she forced the ground. Naruto's heart would beat once, then twice, then 3 times. Naruto then released a very dense pulse of chakra into the earth. As suddenly, roots start to come out. As they're coming out, they then, form the wood style laughing Buddha statue pretty much. Or the statue, of several thousand hands pretty much. As hands would fly out from the statue pretty much, grabbing, Sabusa Hakugato Miz and squishing them pretty much, And I don't know, he's looking at this brother, they squish him, Is this and this is all happening, So nowadays, and she's there watching it. Oh, it's like, what? He inherited the wood style. That that accursed, Kigenkai. My son has inherited it. Damn it, pretty much. She is shocked. She's shocked at this, As she then noticed that her necklace, is pulsating pretty much, As as this is happening, after Naruto, cures them pretty much, he then, walks over, to where the sword is, as he'd pick up the sword. So it would be sure Naruto can pick up, something, which is like, each people, it's rumored to weigh a lot. Because, that sword, chooses its wielder. So, it partly has chosen Naruto's next wielder, pretty much. So it then becomes light, to accommodate his body. So, after, that Naruto then, seemingly start to fall to the ground, where he's then caught by Tsunade. Naruto then, tell her, like, if she can seal away that weapon, Naruto then do exactly that, pretty much. She's gonna then, take any things of importance from the bodies, as, she would then burn them up, with the carton juice, pretty much. Naruto, would then look at his mother, pretty much, and say, Mom, I want you to increase my training. He'll then ask, why Naruto, as, Naruto then say, if I cannot protect, my precious people, then I do not deserve them, pretty much. So, it's not after hearing this, she'll then be like, okay, Naruto, I'll train you, pretty much. It's Naruto then passes out. So, Tsunade is then, like, shocked, pretty much, like, how people found this place, pretty much. As, trial, then coming out, as, Jordan and Taylor, that, people are looking for Naruto, pretty much. Since, there's been a leak that, you took him, pretty much, so, they're looking for the boy, they wanna kill him, and, stuff. It's not they're not ahead, pretty much, and, Jordan be like, don't take him outside for now, keep him, locked into the compound area, pretty much. And, it's not they're not ahead, his chair then goes off, pretty much, to manage off his spine and trick. So, that would be around, that was like 7. So, so now then, increase Naruto's training, as he's 7, pretty much. It's just find out Naruto, has a high affinity for water, like, like the second Hokage, pretty much. He can draw water from the atmosphere. Because, it was a day, this day was pretty much hot, pretty much. Naruto, saw that his mother was getting uncomfortable with the heat. So, Naruto was doing, the leaf training exercises. Naruto then started, to pump chakra, to his forehead, pretty much. He was doing that, unconsciously, he had activated his water affinity. He was starting to drain water, from the clouds and the atmosphere, pretty much, as it then started raining. So now, was the one who saw this, pretty much. He was shocked. He's inherited both those bloodlines. My grandfather's bloodlines, she says. So, so then begins to suspect that, it was because of, her breastfeeding Naruto, pretty much. So, and, the Uzumakis and the Senjus pretty much were close, So she thinks, that, like the Senju blood, and the Uzumakis pretty much, has awakened in Naruto since, she's been breastfeeding him for these years, pretty much. She's gonna then tell, it's not then tell she's gonna to keep this a secret from anyone. She doesn't want, Jiraiya to force Naruto to master this, pretty much. As, she's gonna then not. So, they then continue on Naruto's training, pretty much. Naruto is homeschooled, pretty much. She then, when Naruto is like 9 years old, pretty much. Naruto, would be sitting, with his mom, pretty much, as, Tsunade would have called him. She's, Tsunade then began to tell Naruto, the truth, that, his mother pretty much neglected him, she didn't want him at birth, she wanted to kill him. And, Tsunade then adopted Naruto. Naruto, was, surprised by this, but, he still loved Tsunade either way. As, he then, called towards Tsunade and then hugged her pretty much, tightly, as he say, I don't care, you're still my mother, either way. And, Tsunade then smile. So, Tsunade then asked Naruto, if she really wants, to become, like her official, child, pretty much. It's Naruto nod, She would then, take Naruto downstairs, to where, like, there's a seething formula on the ground. As, this is like the blood, the blood bonding ritual, pretty much. As, she then do the blood bonding ritual to Naruto. As some of his, changes from, blonde to, from yellow orange to blonde. Pretty much, it's like fading a bit. Showing, and Naruto's skin, grow, a bit more, paler. So, with that, Naruto has become a Senju. Yeah, he has become a Senju. So, that technique, was left, by Mito, pretty much, just in case if the Senju clan ever got wiped out, it would be able, to repopulate them back. It was a precaution, because she knew things might never, go according to plan. So, when the ritual was done, I already described Naruto's features, So Naruto, 9 years old, she also chose not to about his father, that his father was the fourth Hokage, pretty much, Minato Namikaze, and, how he was, what person was like. So then asked, if he left him any techniques, pretty much, as, throughout it, then nod your head, saying that, yeah, he did, leave you a couple of techniques for you to train in, and, he might actually enjoy these techniques, pretty much, he says to him. As, our boy Naruto nods his head, pretty much, and say, very well, I'll train these techniques. So, Naruto then trains into Minato's taijutsu style, pretty much, is, he's mastering it, so he sees, like, this is based purely off on speed. He would ask Tsunade to give him some weights, she would then, instead of giving weights, she would put gravity shoes on him, because those are some of them, she had as well. Because, yeah, I doubt, Tsunade wouldn't know them, because, her grandmother was like Mito, motherfucking Mito, was Maki, so she would know. She then, put the gravity suits on Naruto. As, Naruto's training will continue, a bunch, like 12, pretty much, the time for graduation. During, all these years, Naruto pretty much, has mastered, his techniques. He's mastered his Kikigenkai, because of, like, the scrolls, Tobirama had left here, pretty much, he had mastered his Kikigenkai. Because, Tobirama left everything here just in case anyone else, ever inherited, who is, high affinity for water. So, he had left it there. Tobirama had also left, his sword, the Raijin no Ken, pretty much to the one we know who is, like, worthy of it. He had left the Raijin no Ken. And, Naruto also mastered his wood style. If you're wondering how he mastered his wood style, because not many people have it. Naruto mastered it because of the scrolls. Hashirama, left detailed scrolls, at this hideout, this compound, pretty much, which is hidden. He left detailed scrolls, on this wood style, pretty much, how to do the wood style, how to enter in a wood style sage mode, pretty much. All those, blasted techniques, Mito, Mito's market also left, scrolls, very detailed scrolls on ceiling. So pretty much, Naruto, Tsunade, as well as, Shizune, are right now level 10 Seal Masters, If you're asking, how Shizune, pretty much, Shizune, wouldn't want to be left out, pretty much. She was also joining Naruto's training, pretty much learning the skills as well, because, Tsunade saw that, if Naruto ever went, Bollico, pretty much, she would, be able, to steal away the Nine Tails, pretty much. So, that's a precaution she took, and she became a level 10 Seal Master. So, we now see, Tsunade, she's in Naruto, pretty much packing up the place, the side note. Naruto, has grown to an acceptable, height, pretty much, for a 12-year-old, pretty much. All of his baby fat is gone, he's well toned, pretty much. He's got, a six-pack and, these abs, which be looking good. Essentially, not his body looks like it has been sculpted by the gods themselves, That's how Naruto be looking. So, I doubt, any female will be able to resist, that Naruto charm now. So, as they're packing up, Naruto is just smiling pretty much to himself, he's anxious to see what the village is like. Tsunade told him, that the village is called, for his death, pretty much, which he was said about, pretty much, but, he's willing to give them, a chance, pretty much, but if they fuck it up, they fucked up. So, as everything, is going on, pretty much, he was, has just received a letter from a slug summon, telling him that, pretty much, they're coming back. Which, reason, is happy, pretty much. He's get to see his, his segregated grandson again, pretty much. He's happy. So, he's not like, oh, okay. He then, goes and, tells his arm, like to prepare the Senju compound, So now he's coming back to the village, pretty much. So, we like, flashback, some years earlier, he recently had asked Tsunade, if she ever came back to the village to become Hokage in his place. Which, Tsunade then agreed, and said, yeah, it's okay, since, a young Naruto might also become Hokage, so pretty much I'll keep the seat warm for him. Which, he was shocked that, Tsunade would accept this, but, he then thinks to himself that, Naruto must have worked wonders in Tsunade's life, because she lost most things. Naruto, it's like the only thing she has practically. So yeah, should do anything for him. Sorry about that, guys. I'm feeling a little drowsy, pretty much. Not gonna lie, because this what if is an unscripted one. Like most of them, the unscripted. So continuing with the story, Naruto, and Shizune and Tsunade pretty much heading back to the Leaf Village, not knowing what awaits them. So they'll then arrive, after a couple of days, pretty much, because they're taking brief stops everywhere. They then eventually arrive at the gates, pretty much, as Kozma and Kitetsu then let them in, pretty much, as they then head over to the Kage Tower. As they arrive at the Kage Tower, they then see the council, the elders, and Hiruzen, pretty much. And then going inside, as Hiruzen then go over to Tsunade, then give her a hug, pretty much. He then say hello the young Naruto, then say hello G-san, pretty much. As Hiruzen then just chuckles, because he had met Naruto, a few years prior. As Hiruzen then greet she's winning, Tsunade then greet him back. So the elders then say Tsunade, it's very good to have you back in the village, pretty much, as well as the young Senju as well. Which Tsunade then nod their head, pretty much. So the elders then excuse themselves, leaving, pretty much, as Hiruzen then seal up the room, pretty much. But as he seals up the room, we send this Ambo out. But Naruto then say, hey, G-san, there's still one person left. They'll be like, one person left? What do you mean, Naruto? Naruto then say, behind like the bookshelf, you sent your Ambo out, but there's one person left. He's right there. As suddenly Hiruzen's Ambo then flash inside, capturing Danzo's food primitive and taking him away. Which they'll then be surprised. Oh, now it seems Naruto's a sensor. Here's another then out and say, yeah, it's a sensor, pretty much. You can sense chakras and all that stuff. Which Hiruzen wouldn't really question about, pretty much, as who then welcomes Tsunade back into the Leaf Village, and then asking when she wants to take the hat, pretty much. As Tsunade then say, after like the granting, like the graduation exams, pretty much. As she then not. So the graduation exams are gonna be happening in a week's time, so Naruto gets to get familiar with the village. So then head back to the proper Senju compound, pretty much. The place is looking as good as fuck as they left it, pretty much. They would move then now to take a room just closer to his mother's, as well as she's on it as well. Now to then apply more security seals pretty much around the place, like a blood seal on the gate, not to allow anyone who's not from there to enter, pretty much. Everything else, pretty much. So they then move in there, Naruto then asks if you can go around the village, pretty much, which it's not that they had to not then walks out. So it's not just then walking out, pretty much. He then go over to this ramen place, Ichiraku Ramen. As he then order some ramen. As he eats the ramen from there, then he says, it's good, pretty much. He would enjoy it, pretty much. As the old man in there would be like, oh yeah, thank you. What's your name, boy? And then say, oh, my name is Naruto Senju, pretty much. As the old man would then be short and say, oh yeah, it's good to see you, boy, and that stuff. Not after eating the ramen, he then head out. Pretty much. He's walking. He bumps into this person. This person is Satsuki, which she's the last of her clan, pretty much. He not then bump into her. Not then apologize for bumping into her since he was not paying attention to where he was going. As Satsuki will then forgive him pretty much. As you then ask him if he's coming to the academy. As not to then say, yeah, I'm gonna come to the academy to take my test, pretty much. As Satsuki will then nod her head, pretty much. She will then walk off. So Sasuke would be having a blush on her cheeks, pretty much, because she enjoyed the conversation with Naruto. So I'm going to leave this part off here, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to be posting an influx of videos, pretty much, because I might be heading back to school, pretty much, and yeah, I really won't be able to to post since I have my exams and shit. So I won't leave you guys alone. But hey, it's what has to be done, pretty much. I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. Peace out.